guys, this is Kayla.
And this is Becky. We're with a couple of these read.
Yes, and we are late on this, but these are our March Aardvark choices. Yes. You know how much we love Aardvark.
Yes, they have the best customer service ever, and we just love their books. Quick
note, their March choices
were so good.
Like, I had trouble. I think we got, did they have 5? Because if so, we got all 5.
Yes, because I don't think we doubled up.
No, we got all 5. Like, all of their choices were good. They might have had 6 choices.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Okay, so this one by Linda Holmes. It's back after this. I found this one very interesting. And I love the fact that every how many books you get a bookmark for each book. Yes. So you don't have to worry about it. She is Cicely Foster's the main character, and she loves podcasts. But she's had a bad relationship, and so it's kind of turned her off. But her boss, who's undoubtedly not been very truthful with her about promotions and things, decides to give her a promotion. But in the process, it has to be, she's sworn off dating, but now her podcast has to be about her date life. And on top of that, she has to use this new hot influencer on, social media. So she's not real happy about that. So this will be I got this because I thought it would be a fun read, just something light and airy.
And I'll need to borrow it because I love podcasts and I love novels about podcasts, and I'm writing a novel about a podcast.
Yes, that's your new novel you're writing. The Strange Case of Jane O by Karen Thompson Walker. This was another one. It happens that this woman kind of loses her memory. She comes up missing, and this is right after she's had a baby, and they're trying to determine, does this have something to do with postpartum, or did something else happen to her, or did all of this come about after the birth because of something that happened to her when she was younger? So I thought it sounded like it had a lot of twists and turns in it, so I got this one. But I am finishing a book right now by Susan M. Boyer, the Sullivan Island Supper Club. As soon as I'm through with that, this is my next read.
I know, it sounds so good.
Yes, You Are Fatally Invited by Andy
Pliego,
I'm
assuming.
Okay. Yes, and this is, it just sounded so interesting. This is about authors, and it's about thriller authors. Okay, and this man, he comes up and he asks this other upcoming author, or one that's kind of trendy today, to come in to his island home and help him run this retreat for other authors. Well, Mila jumps at the chance to go work with Alistair, because it just so happens one of the invitees is somebody she has a bone to pick with. And she kind of decides she's going to plan a murder. Oh. But unfortunately, somebody else dies before she can implement her plan.
Dagnabbit.
And then there's a huge storm. Nobody can get off the island. And then these authors start dropping one by one. And they're not the ones she wants dead. So.
Then there were none.
I know. That. So it does have, just reading it has that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But this will be, as soon as I finish Susan's book, this will be my next read, because it just sounds too interesting.
Yes. So I will say this. When the book of the month, when the Aardvark books came open and you sent me your list and I saw You Are Fatally Invited on your list, because what we do is we text each other what we're getting so we don't get the same things. But she said that, and I was like, what do you mean by taking the one thriller? And then I went and looked through what else they had, and it made more sense.
Yes.
Because I saw this.
Is that not a beautiful cover?
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Upon a Starlit Tide, and when I read the Aardvark synopsis, it is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid. And Becky knows I have a soft spot for retellings.
Because I thought about getting this one.
Yes. And she knows. She's one of the few people that knows this, because I don't read them as often as, say, thrillers or mysteries.
Right.
But I do have a soft spot for them. Now, I will, if I never talk about this book again, it's because I didn't like it, because if I don't like the retelling, it's brutal.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, just looking at this cover, I've read the first couple of pages, I'm going to love this one. This is going to be my brain break from all the dark books I'm reading. Speaking of dark books.
Yeah, this one was also, I know, it was interesting. I think we predicted this one.
We did predict this one. Because, like, I love Stephen Graham Jones, and they had carried I Was a Teenage Slasher.
Yeah.
Which is very strange. Stephen Graham Jones has this way of writing, like, young adult novels that are really for adults. My Heart is a Chainsaw, one of my favorite horror novels ever that he wrote, but it is wild. And then, of course, I Was a Teenage Slasher. And The Buffalo Hunter is more in line with his adult horror novel, The Only Good Indians, which I have not read. I might not be adult enough to read it. I don't know. But The Buffalo Hunter, there is a journal found of a Native American who basically went on a killing spree when white people killed his people. And it gets pretty brutal. I've read the first couple of pages. I'm really excited about it. Here's my thing with horror novels. I didn't read horror. I don't know if you know this. I was not allowed near anything spooky when I was a child. I can imagine.
I know your mom and
or
dad.
An adult. Well, but also I would have chronic nightmares. Like, I'd have a chronic nightmare about Scooby-Doo. Like, I'd wake up just screaming my lungs out, and my parents are like, I don't know what's wrong with her. Don't let her watch this. Like, there was, by my teens, there was so little I could watch because it would give me nightmares.
Yeah.
So by the time I was able to, like, get out of the house and read, like, you know, I had this fear, I don't want to read scary stuff, but then I got kind of around to the idea of I'm going to have nightmares whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
Whether I read scary stuff or not, so let me give the scary stuff a try. I was an adult when I started reading horror. And I was an adult with an English degree. So what's cool about that is I was able to kind of dig down and see that the reason I love horror is the same reason I used to love fantasy as a child.
Right.
It's all allegory. So fantasy, you've got Narnia, it's all an allegory for Christ and everything else. With horror, you've got, like, Silver Bullet by Stephen King. That's not one of his good ones. It's not one of his well-known ones. But it's, you know, a werewolf. Mm-hmm. We're scared of werewolves, not because we're scared of dogs, but because we're scared of losing control and hurting people we love.
Yeah.
That's why the werewolf story appeals to us. And a good horror novel does that. And I think a good horror novel steeped in history like this is exactly what I need to read, because there is some really dark history wherever you are, whatever country you're in. Yeah. And I think it's something that should be explored. And the more we explore it, maybe the more we learn who we really are, because I feel like we learn that through our fears.
Yeah. And then hopefully overcome that and not be those bad people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's why I've started to love the horror genre, because I think it is the clearest picture of who we are. Because we're not afraid of monsters, we're afraid of being the monsters.
That's true.
Or we're afraid of the humans who are disguised, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that one. I'm excited about both those books. One is beautiful, and I'll probably need to read it after the other one when I, like, soak my brain in darkness. But I am super excited about all of these.
All right. Let us know what you're reading.
Bye, guys.